Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And by extension, I want to seize this opportunity to thank the Office of the President through the Vice President for coming before the National Assembly and address the nation. I think it's one of the constitutional mandates that he fulfilled, and as such it's important that we recognize those efforts. However, Honorable Speaker, during the SONA, the President took his time to really share with us what his government or what the Gambian government have been doing for the people of this country. And looking at the introductory part of the nation's address, on number 3, the President did mention that this time he is not doing the traditional sectoral presentation, but instead he was going to make a presentation on thematic areas. And for me, I want to believe that having to do a presentation on thematic areas didn't really help to address most of our problems that ordinary citizens are facing. It could have been on sectoral basis. Then as such, there will be no sector that will be left out. But in this current situation, I think you only highlighted with ministries or institutions that were doing well. What about institutions that were not performing up to expectations? Generally, the SONA should have covered every other bit. Also, one thing that I have not heard the President saying during his nation's address was term limit. I know most of us would say it's not something that is catered for in our 1997 Constitution. But notwithstanding, I would have expected the President during his nation's address to reassure Gambians as to what are his plans to really come up with an amendment or with a legislation that would help to address term limit, because it were one of the campaign promises the President made. So as such, we shouldn't really flout that part of our country. Also, Honorable Speaker, that would refer me to page 31 on security or on national security. He did dwell on national security, but one thing that baffles me here is he couldn't really take a minute or a second of his time to mention about the 2 police officers, our gallant officers, who were killed at Sokoto traffic light. I would have expected for him to really reflect on that killing. But instead, when he came before us, what he did was to really inform the National Assembly that the crime rate has declined. It's not about the number of crimes that are registered. It should be about the magnitude of crimes that have been occurring in this country. And that is the best way we can address our security issues. On the same security issue, we have been witnessing almost on daily basis where our young people are losing their lives due to the consumption of coups or the abuse of coups. We would have expected the President, as he did in his concluding remarks, to say that the Gambia Immigration Department were coming up with a bill. We would have expected for the President to inform this August Assembly what are his government plans, more especially with the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, as to whether he is preparing the agency to come up with a bill that will help to address the abuse of drugs in this country and also safeguard the lives of our young people. Honorable Speaker, I would want us to look at page 41. On page 41, it's about youth and sports. And with all the challenges we are facing today as a country, 2/3 of it is emerging from the youth population. And as such, I would have expected the President to really dwell on youth matters and also to inform this August gathering the plans that his government has in solving or in order to remedy some of the challenges that our young people are facing. Few things that I want to talk around young people, that is employment. I think last year, 2023, when the President came before this very National Assembly to address the nation, he did promise to create 150,000 jobs. But until today, no one can tell what mechanisms are in place in order to create those lucrative jobs for our young people in order to cope unemployment and underemployment in this country. Honorable Speaker, the issue of irregular migration and deportation have been an issue in this country. A lot of our young people have been embarking on the irregular migration route, and we would have expected for the nation's address to really look into those issues and also give us tangible solutions as to what government needs to do in solving some of those matters. The issue of deportation has been also a national discourse. On a daily basis, all that we have been seeing is either 200 arrivals or 100 arrivals either from Germany or from other countries in the name of deportation. I would have expected the President to dwell more on that and also to inform this National Assembly what plans he has in order to curb irregular migration in this country and also to minimize the numbers that have been deported in this country. If also we cannot avoid deportation, I would expect the government to come up with mechanisms as to how those deported young people can be integrated in our society. You go to my own constituency in Janjambure today, you can find over 10 deportees from Germany and other countries. But sadly, they cannot even find a job. And apart from finding a job, there is no coordination from the government to really get these young people to be integrated in our societies and also for them to contribute to our economy. Honorable Speaker, the cost of living is at its peak. And the President didn't tell us here any plans or strategies as to how he is going to combat the issue of high cost of living in this country. I think the only thing he told us was the Badia agreement. That is the 50 million that we agreed to or we approved here in these chambers. But again, it seems we were even fooled as representatives because what the contract entailed or what we approved and what we saw happening after the approval of that Badia contract was two different things. And since the funds are directed to one private business entity, it will be also very important for the concerned ministry to monitor whether that particular entity is really executing the plans as expected. If not, he needs to be redirected and ensure that essential foods are affordable and also accessible. Honorable Minister, on foreign service, the President did inform us as to the plans he has for foreign services and also some of the relations we have been developing, more especially with our neighboring country, Senegal. I understand that there were some agreements in between us and the Republic of Senegal, more especially
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Janjambure. I now invite the Honorable Member for Jara West.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, let me use this opportunity to thank the President for fulfilling his constitutional mandate to come to these chambers, address the people of the Gambia on his policies and directions. Honorable Speaker, without taking much of my time, hence I have only 10 minutes and I have a lot of issues to discuss. I will go to the Ministry of Agriculture. Honorable Speaker, I will thank the government of the Gambia through His Excellency President Adam Barrow and the Minister of Agriculture for ably this year making the farmers happy. When I say the farmers are happy, farmers have best trade season in the past trade season. Having a ton of groundnut for $38,000, that is, we have never seen that in the sub-region. In fact, I engaged a trader who buy groundnut and sell groundnut to other countries, but he said because of the best price this year, he sold his groundnut. After buying it from other private dealers, he sold his groundnut to GGC because there was no reason why he should take his groundnut outside to sell it to others. So then the President, we are commending you and praying for you. May Allah give you long life. Amen. Honorable Speaker, with that, the issue of the fertilizer. We have seen every year government is doing its efforts to bring down the price of fertilizer for farmers. We have seen how much fertilizer is subsidized. And then that shows how this government is caring its citizens. We all know when farmers have access to fertilizers at the right time, we will expect good harvest. This is why, because of the trade season last year, so many people have gone back to the farms this year. And I know it is only through farming that we can bring the inflation down that we are crying of every day. We talk of inflation, because of we have small to export. But if we have big to export, we'll bring down our inflation, inshallah. Honorable Speaker, I'll move to the transport, works and infrastructure. The President, on his statement, he said, in accordance with our recovery-focused national development plan, significant progress have been made in both urban and rural road development, which I'm proud to stand here today to thank the President and his government and the Minister of Works and Transport for the Kabada roads, which is on progress at the moment. The people are happy, and it is, I always say it here, when we have roads, then we are setting path for a development. We cannot develop without good roads. You go around all the country, go to Abase, you see these ring roads, you go to Sabak Sanjal, as the President mentioned, you go to Nyanija. Now is our turn, the Kabada people. We have never enjoyed what we are enjoying now. So we say thank you to the President. National budget was distributed and we are forgotten. But alhamdulillah, now the road is under construction now. We say thank you to Mr. President. Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, to show the seriousness and the concern of this government on water transportation, the President said we are concluding a concession contract with Al Barak Company Limited, which will further enhance port efficiency. The contract includes development of a new deep sea port in Sanya. When we have this, we will have more revenue coming in the country. The issue why we have seen a lot of containers dropping or going to Senegal ports, here we have some people when they said when some vessels come in, they have to wait for some time before the other vessel will discharge. This is making us lose more revenue. So the alternative to have an other deep sea around Sanyang, that's a welcoming idea. Let's support the idea together. In addition, we have partnered with the private sector to upgrade the Banjul shipyard to support the ferries as well as other craft and industrial fishing vessels. Honorable Speaker, still on transport and works, the President said in his statement, page 13, bullet point 7, the transport sector contributes significantly to the economy. The Gambia Port Authority, for instance, recorded revenue collection of $1,563 million, representing a 2% increase over the $1,534 million. This is laudable. So this is showing that this government is serious in whatever it is doing. So we should help as National Assembly members. Honorable Speaker, in the areas of aviation, the President has talked about, aside from undertaking comprehensive reform to align operations with international standards and best practices, we are investing in our human capital for a viable, skillful workforce. In this respect, 23 students are currently sponsored at the Regional Maritime University in Ghana to study various engineering fields. All the first cohort of students graduated with distinction. So this one, we need to applaud the government of trying to give us good engineers. Next time or a few years to come, we don't need to bring in engineers outside the country to come and remedy our situations. We have our own engineers, Gambians, fully Gambians. Thank you very much, Honorable President. Mr. President. Honorable Speaker, I will move to trade and regional government. Honorable Speaker, trade, industry, and regional government, I have come to a bullet point where I'm so happy to see this one. I am happy to add that, the President said, I'm happy to add that there is a funding from the African Development Bank for a feasibility studies to establish a special economic zone along the Senegambia Bridge. And he said, consulting firm has been recruited to conduct the study. This is very important. As we know, when we used to have the Ilitenda Bambatenda ferry, we have a lot of people trading there, having income to take care of their family and contributing to national development. But when the bridge was constructed, those people were moved to other sides. We have a market in Farafenni and market on the other side, that's in Soma. But now the government is coming up with an idea to have economic zone along the Senegambia Bridge. This is very, very important. And in the area of industrialization, the construction of a special economic zone along the Senegambia Bridge corridor is underway with significant investment projected to create over 1,000 jobs. This is laudable. This is very, very important. And I believe this will be around my Jara Soma. You know, that area can accommodate whatever we need as industrialization. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Okay, we are coming there. Petroleum and energy. His Presidency, inspired by the Government Energy Roadmap 2021-2024, the National Water and Electricity has earmarked on transforming energy. We are happy. All the villages in Jara West now, you know, somehow with light, and some people are now seeing the poles coming to their end. This is what we need as a government. a government that is serious in taking care of the issues of its citizens. So we are saying, may Allah bless the President. Amen. And the Gambian people. Amen. Honorable Speaker, I've just come on an observation on the communication and digital economy, bullet point 3. It says, in collaboration with the Public Utility Regulatory Agency and the Gambia Revenue Authority, we have engaged CIPCA, a company in South Africa, to implement a revenue assurance. A revenue assurance is very, very important. This is something that
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Jara West. I now invite the Honorable Member for Sani Mentrek. 1557.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, first, I'll have to thank the President and the Vice President with his cabinet for fulfilling their constitutional mandate. Honorable Speaker, I'll go straight to the point, and of course, I'll also thank the President, the Cabinet Ministers for having that patience, for being here since in the morning with us. Of course, it is their right, it is their constitutional mandate which they are trying to fulfill, especially the Minister of Civil Service. Thank you very much for being here with us since in the morning. Honorable Minister Mbo, thank you. And going straight to the point, Honorable Speaker, I'll start from page 12, which is the transport works and infrastructure. Honorable Speaker, if you may permit me to read subsection 5, where you have, apart from refurbishing old ferries, which have produced 2 new ferries and are waiting their delivery. These initiatives will guarantee reliable and safe ferry services on the Banjul-Barra services. Yes, it is laudable. It is very, very important, Honorable Speaker, but I think it is also very important since people have suffered, especially the people from the North Bank, have also suffered so much with regards to the transportation of the ferries. Honorable Speaker, I will urge the Vice President or the Minister responsible, when responding, at least to tell us exactly the time frame where this will be effective. Honorable Speaker, moving on to the second, sorry, still on transport, in accordance with number 2, in accordance with the recovery focus national development plan, significant, sorry, the battle-hardened highway and its feeder routes, for example, are nearing completion. The rural loads program, stretching 365 kilograms and fully funded by the national budget, is advancing smoothly. The word, for example, I have a concern why I'm using, for example, here, Honorable Speaker, if Your Excellency, the Vice President, or the Minister, the Line Minister can also elaborate on this rather. Moving on to the Fisheries Ministry, Honorable Speaker, on page 11. Page 11, where you have subsection 3, where you have consequently the Minister of Fisheries, Water Resources and National Assembly Matters has initiated the construction of 20 fishing boats and fishing equipment to enhance livelihood of the youth and women, reduce illegal migration. Yes, this is very, very important, but if they can also, the ministry can also, or the minister or the vice president can also elaborate on this, how this is going to be possible, how are they going to get the finance sources, is also very important to elaborate on that as well. And Honorable Speaker, moving on to page 15. Page 15, where you have the tourism and culture on subsection 4 in the cultural sector. Honorable Speaker, the Minister of Tourism established the National Endowment Fund of Arts and Culture. Following cabinet endorsement, the fund will be operational in 2024 to provide a steady source of support for Gambian and cultural program. The source of funding that the the ministry will provide, is it directly from our budget, or will it be a grant or a loan? Let the minister also elaborate on that, Honorable Speaker, or the Vice President, Your Excellency. And also, Honorable Speaker, moving on to page 19, where you have the petroleum and energy. Petroleum and energy, Honorable Speaker, notably, NAWEC is implementing a significant electricity access project to connect over 800 communities across the country. We need to know the time frame, Honorable Speaker, Your Excellency, or the line ministry. And also, moving forward, Honorable Speaker, I'll also move on to page 27. 27, Honorable Speaker, where you have the GAMTEL, yes, 27, Honorable Speaker, where you have the GAMTEL as well. Or generally, Honorable Speaker, the rate on our communication, the rate is very, very high. I would also urge the ministry to also look into this and then see how best we can remedy that situation on a high rate with regards to communication, especially international communication. Honorable Speaker, moving on to page 29 as well. Honorable Speaker, there are 8,427, which is the public service. There are 8,427 vacant positions across the ministry. Most of them are in the ministries of Interior, Defense, and Health. Honorable Speaker, I will urge the line ministry to tell us what stops them from advertising that position. If so, why can't they do it as soon as possible, since there is high rate of unemployment in the country? Honorable Speaker, also, following the question in connection to the SONA with regards to the transport, how much because earlier, some time ago, I brought it as a question, a parliamentary question, but then since we have the Minister of Finance in-house of this noble house, Honorable Speaker, I would like the Honorable Minister of Finance to tell us how much they are spending with regards to transportation on Banjul ferry services on a monthly basis, considering the amount that we'll be running as a revenue of 24.4 million, as mentioned by the Honorable Minister some time ago. Honorable Speaker, also with the Minister of Gender, Children and Social Welfare. Gender, Children and Social Welfare have also spoken about, in the SONA, the President has also spoken about the support that they've given to women of the Gambia as Women Enterprise Fund. Women Enterprise Fund, which should be on page 34. Earlier this year, the Women's Enterprise Fund distributed funds to 8,400 women across the West Coast region. I think this is a very, very minimal support. Yes, it's a support, but then imagine, just think of the population within West Coast, 8,400 women across West Coast region. I think this is very, very minimal. I will also urge the ministry to put more effort to make sure that our women in the country, across the country, especially West Coast, which is the biggest region in the Gambia, at least to be supported with regards to the Women Enterprise Fund. 8,400 women is absolutely nothing when you think of the population in West Coast region. Honorable Speaker, also on page 42, on page 40, before 42 rather, on page 41, section 6, subsection 6, on youth and sports. The Minister of Youth and Sports is continually initiating skills development and employment opportunities for the youth. The National Youth Service graduate program launched last year to prepare young graduates for the job market. It is clear, is a clear example. Another is the ongoing training in sustainable farming practices provided for the Shanghai Initiative. Honorable Speaker, what is the government putting in place to support these people? What are they putting in place to support these graduates? For example, the people who are training, the youth that they are explaining in the SONA, the President has explained in the SONA that the government is supporting them at least, or the ministry is supporting them on training on agriculture or any other sector that they might be training. So what are they putting in place to make sure that they maintain the knowledge that they have gained, or the knowledge that they have gained at least to be strong with regards to the particular lessons that they have learned or whatsoever. Honorable Speaker, most importantly on health, when you think of the maternal mortality in the Gambia, maternal mortality has been an issue in the Gambia. It is still an issue in the Gambia, and it's a very, very big concern for women in the Gambia, and of course fathers as well. But in this SONA, there is nowhere where it is mentioned in this SONA by the President of the Gambia that at least a decrease of maternal mortality to be mentioned in this SONA, in this statement. Is it not important? Is it not important? There was a time when your woman, or when a woman or a family member is pregnant, you'll have a sleepless night because the person is pregnant, whether she will die or whether she will deliver in a good manner. But it has never mentioned in this SONA at least a percentage whether there is a decrease.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Sani Mentoring. I now call upon the Honorable Member for Banjul Central.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I will first and foremost like to acknowledge the presence of our Honorable Vice President, and we hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept the prayers, as he is just from the holy city of Mecca. I also would like to acknowledge the presence of all Honorable Ministers here present. It is quite important that whilst we speak, we see members of the cabinet within our midst, as most of the time we actually basically talk to ourselves here in the chamber, and we are both here to be listened to. And most of the things that we put out are meant for those that are heading the sectors that we debate upon. So it's quite important. The State of the Nation address is quite important, Honorable Speaker, as it highlights progress and status of various cross-sectors within the ministries. This time around, though, the President gave a very good speech as usual. However, he decided to do away from the normal sectoral process, whereby we are usually given statistics of various institutions or sectors that are within your purview. But this time around, it was just a holistic overview of things. Though it's not bad, but most of the time we would like to see specifics, as our role as parliamentarians is to be able to make variations, to be able to make correlations from previous years and also this year as well. I think if you ask me, I would say that what we used to have before is more preferred than this particular mode of communication with regards to the SONA. Also, part of our responsibilities as National Assembly members is to applaud the work of government when necessary. When they do a good job, we make sure we applaud them and also give advice in areas that need augmentations on most cases, but also constructively criticize on things that are pending and need urgent look into. That is part of our work as parliamentarians, and that's what we do our level best. That's why we do our level best to make sure that these things are put through. Honorable Speaker, if we look at the economy on a holistical perspective, in 2023, the inflation rate in 2022 from 5% then to 13% in 2023. From 2022, sorry, 13%, and then mid-2023, we saw an inflation rate of 17.4. And then again, I like to always take things on the medium-term economic fiscal framework, because this is a framework that serves as a guide for government with regards to areas of, it serves as a strategic guide on managing public finances, basically. It helps in controlling inflation, loan management, program-based spending, and other issues. So if you take things, midterm 2023, the inflation rate 17.4, and this 2024, we are expecting a debt distress of over $2 billion this current year. If you look at things, and part of the medium-term economic fiscal framework is that we will do our level best to have a loan threshold, basically, because we take too much loans. Most of the things I've seen here in the zona are quite progressive. However, most of these projects are loan financed, and it really is a cause of concern, because it's like when it comes to our productive sector, it's still taking government time to be able to mobilize domestic resources to be able to fund some of our activities. And every single year, Parliament here, $5 or $6 billion, I think, goes to finance some of our loans. And this is taking a big toll on our economic, holistic economic output. And this, if you pack it with this particular zona, I think there's a lot of work to be done with regards to these areas, Honorable Speaker. So I think if you are to align this with the medium-term economic fiscal framework, it's like this framework, when I first heard about it, I was quite, ignited, because at last I was like, we have a clear strategy as to how to manage our country's coffers, our finances. But if you correlate this particular guide and the way government is spending, borrowing, among others, there isn't an alignment, basically, if you look at how things are going. So I think really government needs to look at its priority areas and also make sure they align it with the medium-term economic fiscal framework, Honorable Speaker. When it comes to healthcare, Honorable Speaker, we've seen certain progresses. Health facilities have been constructed, which we applaud. But in the President's speech, Honorable Speaker, we haven't seen any detailed information with regards to maternal mortality rates, the acute kidney issue that just came about, and it was a cause of concern where multiple babies died, and we were expecting, and this uprooted public concern. So we were expecting the President to be more specific on these areas as well. Honorable Speaker, when it comes to infrastructure, we've seen tangible major achievements, to be honest, and also we applaud the government for taking the pro-based tech rural process with regards to these sectors. We've seen a vast urban development when it comes to road connections. And there's a saying in Chinese that if you want to develop an economy, you make sure you build roads, interconnections, because it helps businesses, it helps, it augments basic transportation routes, but also helps in making sure that commerce and business processes are easier as well. So I applaud that. When it comes to environment, so our role is also to make sure that the previous and current year, some of the promises are aligned with what we are seeing currently. We've seen that in 2023, the SONA, the President talked of reforestation, waste management, coastal marine resources. We've seen that most of these things are upcoming. For example, we've seen that there's a waste bill that is currently in Parliament to be looked into. So we think that these areas, these are very progressive. When it comes to governance and civic engagement as well, we were promised that a new constitution will be tabled here in the Parliament, but it will go through a referendum. We've seen that the President has ignited that during his speech, that there will be a referendum for a new constitution that we applaud. The anti-corruption bill also, part of myself, part of our campaign promises was that we'll make sure that we ignite our voices in Parliament to make sure we influence the process with regards to the passing of the anti-corruption bill, and that we would like to applaud. Honorable Speaker, when it comes to employment, we all know that currently the Gambia is, there's a high rate of underemployment, unemployment as well, and even a lot of, the President made mention during the speech that over quite a high number of graduates just recently from the University of the Gambia, but also it's alarming to know that most of these graduates will end up a year, 2 years, 3 years, seeking job opportunities. And it's really daunting, and most of them even up to go to the, overseas to be able to further their education when possible or find other means. Some are even engaged in business, commerce, and stuff like that with very good papers. But based on the unavailability of job opportunities, it's really hindering their process towards economic development. And the president also said that 150,000 jobs will be created. I did question where exactly these employment opportunities are going to be derived from, because we haven't seen any industrial complexes or large corporations whereby it will harness thousands or hundreds of young people. It's non-existent here in the country. But also we heard that from this speech that some will be sent to Saudi Arabia for job opportunities. My only question here is, if we are to send our citizens outside to seek job opportunities, it might be a brain drain for this country. So our question was like, that 150,000 jobs, where exactly in the Gambia, what type of institutionalized setup will be done to be able to harness all these people here in the country, but not to send them outside. My question is also, are they being sent outside to gather skills, or are they being sent outside just to seek job opportunities? That we would like clarity on, and we were hoping to see that in the SONA. Honorable Speaker, when it comes to Minister of Lands, we've seen that there's a national land policy that is here, and also when it comes to the rent aspect of things, which is also a public cry, there's also a rent bill that is coming up. We're just pleading to government to fast-track these issues, because these land issues are really a problem for the everyday Gambian.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Banjul Central. But we have already passed the anti-corruption bill, probably its enforcement. I now call upon the Honorable Member for Lower Newmi.
Honorable Speaker, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I first witnessed the presence of the Vice President and the honorable ministers who were there with us since in the morning. I thank you all. Our debate today is regarding the SONA. With me, this SONA is the best speech the President ever made in this year, 2024. I will commend him for that and congratulate him and advise him to move forward. He is in the right direction together with his government. I thank them all. Honorable Speaker, I will just jot down some points out of the SONA. One of them is infrastructural development, which is roads and budget and bridge. These are some of the development. As the saying goes, seeing is believing. When you go around the country, you will see a lot of development in terms of roads and bridges. Therefore, with that, I would like my constituency of Lower Newmi to enjoy feeder roads also. Honorable Speaker, in terms of agriculture, I will applaud the Ministry of Agriculture for the good job they are doing, particularly in terms of trying to get food self-sufficiency. This is what we need. As the living commodities are high, definitely we need to work on to get food self-sufficiency for this country in order to able to eat what we grow. Honorable Speaker, he has mentioned, the President has mentioned about health. That is, 3 new health facilities are built, which is a laudable achievement. Definitely, there is no country, there is no unhealth country that can develop. I think these things should continue, and I want my constituency of Lower Nyomi in order to also enjoy those new health facilities. Honorable Speaker, river transport. I was very delighted when the President mentioned that his government has purchased 2 new green ferries in order to facilitate the transportation of passengers and goods between Bara and Banjul. I'm praying for us to live and witness those 2 new ferries in operational. Honorable Speaker, in terms of security, he talked about security, border security, internal security. With this, I'm appealing for the government to put more effort on internal security as armed robbery attacks are rampant in this country, particularly my constituency of Lower Nyomi and my own village of Fas Njagachoy. Armed robberies happening every year, year in, year out, every year. I'm urging the government to do something in order to eradicate armed robberies in this country. Energy supply, Honorable Speaker, as my other colleagues alluded, definitely there is a project going on within the country, erecting poles in order to get sufficient energy supply for the entire country. But my constituency of Lower Nyomi are yet to enjoy this because most of about 15 communities are yet to be surveyed even. So I'm urging the Minister of Energy to try to do something with those communities. Honorable Speaker, with youths, the government is doing a lot in terms of sports and sporting activities. But what to secure our youths, particularly when it comes to illicit drugs? Illicit drugs like coups. These coups is harming our young children. The government needs to do something, as this younger generation are the future leaders of tomorrow. We do not afford to lose them. Let the government do their level best in order to eradicate coups in this country. Honorable Speaker, so many of my National Assembly members mentioned about salary restructuring. Yeah, for the civil service. Definitely with me, I will say not only the civil service, but our men and women in uniform. Let them be included. They are really suffering. They are working hard for our safety and security. They are out there for us, and we are here under the shade enjoying. Let them be taken care of and uplift their living standard. Honorable Speaker, not to take too long, let me just pray for us to witness many more sonars, particularly this coming 2025 sonar. And Honorable Speaker, I will, with that note, I will thank everybody for coming. I beg to take my seat. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Lower Nyomi. I now invite the Honorable Member for Talinding Kunja.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I would like to first and foremost thank the Vice President and the ministers here present. I will begin my intervention with the Fisheries and Water Resources Ministry, where the President informed this August Assembly that the Gambia has made significant strides in improving equitable access to safe drinking water, with 90% of the population provided with better water resources in 2023, up from 86% in 2010. This is where I have problem. And I think SONA, being very important in the activities of government, should not carry any misinformation with regard to the realities that reflect on the ground. 90% begs the question, does it really mean 90? Because meaning every 100, 90 people have access to water. Only 10 don't have. Unless access has other meaning. But it means when they can get water where they want to get it and at what time they want to get it. Even if I take Talinim for example, I will refute this claim. There are areas, majority parts of Talinim who do not, you have tap, no drop of water is coming there daily. We've been saying this, even the minister, former minister who was moved, confirmed to us here that the demand is more than the capacity of Nawek. Now you are telling me access 90%? How can somebody justify that? There are people, even here now, because of that lack of water, I have submitted my last CDF, constituency development for the entire 400,000, so that Norway can provide water service pipe from one location to another. The National Assembly paid everything in January. And it's not only my request, member for Bundu requested the same water issue, member for Ojo Swang requested the same issue. As we speak, National Assembly paid everything to them, to Norway. Not even a single pipe is laid for those people to get those water. You are telling me 90%? You go to Talining, people are digging borehole everywhere. Go to Brikama, people are digging borehole everywhere. You telling me 90%? Is it realistic? People must feed the president with the truth. Technicians and ministries must tell the president the truth. The president cannot be blamed for this. You gave him what he should read. He read it out. But this, we all know this is not realistic. This is a government statement. 90%. I'm a member of 3 committees that go around this country. I met villages in Bayan, Jogen, everywhere, who don't even have a simple borehole in communities. And even to refute your own claim, to tell you that this is contradictory, go to the next page where the ministry is boasting of a project, which I can commend them if it's implemented. And they are targeting 280,000 Gambians to access water. If this is achievable, we commend the ministry. But this goes to say that your 90% is false. Because 280,000 people, as our population today, is more than 10% of the population. And it's covering how many villages? So let's be realistic when we are presenting information to the president to present to the whole nation. And this misinformation goes to even those infrastructure, where the president is quoted in saying the OIC projects are conceived and executed timely. Is that realistic? Talining, all those want to Talining is an OIC project. Safidin is an OIC project. Yes, there are good ones that have been completed. Just the day before yesterday, I went to Willing Kamba, and I commend the government for that. It's in good shape. It's completed, but not all are completed. Saying that it's timely, you are giving false information. Let's state the facts. This is not correct, and I want to highlight that. On the Ministry of Public Service, I applaud the ministry for the reforms they said they are going to do. It is important because years ago, the Gambia, this public service has been a shining light of the sub-region. And I think those stories should continue. What is alarming is the vacancy that they have highlighted. 80,427 vacancies in the public service. But not only that, the most important thing is in the crucial sectors of the economy, of the country, is the Ministry of Interior, Defense, and Health. And there is no wonder why the president even admitted to the failure of the government in reducing crime. Because you are telling me these vacancies should be filled in the army. These vacancies should be filled in the police. These vacancies should be filled in the health centers. You just boast about creating building new hospitals. But then, let me remind you, the national state registered nurses have graduated 2 badges that have not been taken on board. Who are going to fill those hospitals? It's a challenge, it's a concern. And you, government, is boasting about creating employment. Now you have vacancies in your own government. You are not filling it. And the excuse is the lengthy recruitment process. I beg to differ that. The normal training program for a professional soldier is just more than 4 months. Police, 5 months, 6 months. They've completed training. That cannot be the reasonable reason to say that that's why that's justified. If there's no money, yes. If you prioritize other issues more than security, you can say that. But you say the recruitment process being long is the reason that you cannot fill this 8,000. That's not possible. That's not acceptable as a reason. The government must set priorities in filling these vacancies because they impact on crucial sectors of the country, which is security. And that high attrition rate, the defense minister has confirmed that. So people have right to live. He said it, I quote him, Minister of Defense. Everyone has right to live. People are leaving the army. They are leaving the police. How do you replace them? It should be focus of the government to do that. And why are they leaving it? The welfare of the people in the security forces. It's not made any mention of in the statement. Honorable Speaker, the tourism sector, Ministry of Tourism, on page 15, the President highlighted his government stand in improving our promotion strategies, infrastructure, products, and services. Their strategies improvement. I question the policies in enhancing, improving the infrastructure of this country in terms of tourism. Go to tourism infrastructures in this country and look the condition in which they are. Not only talking about hotels, those are private entities, but look at tourism sites like the parks, the national parks, the Aboriginal reserves, and all the cultural sites, and you see what improvements have been done there. I refer anybody to the report of the Select Committee on Youth and Sports and Culture, and you see the gap that has been raised since last year. And there are issues regarding there is an idea that was mentioned here, twinning the Aboriginal reserve with even Fatala. So the realities on the ground does not reflect what the paper, the official statement is saying. The only improvement we can see in terms of infrastructure is the ecologies, which is in fact fraught with malpractices, according to the reports of the Petition Commission. So we are saying Gambia wants to revamp the tourism sector, but the product and the infrastructure are not being developed. How do we go forward? Do unto others as you like you others to do unto you. When you speak, I leave you freely to express yourself. In fact, when time did not favor you, I was affected because we are in a very important time. And you are the very person who moved 10 minutes here. But that 10 minutes was not sufficient for you. You know, let's stop doing disservice to our people. We are a representative of the people in this parliament.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Talending Kunjang. I now invite the Honorable Member for Nyamina Dankunku.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Let me also join my colleague to thank the Vice President and then the Cabinet Ministers who are present in these chambers. Honorable Speaker, let me also thank the President of the Republic for fulfilling his constitutional mandate. Honorable colleague, we have the SONA in our in front of us, and then this is because of Section 77(1) that actually forced the President, because the provision is shall, meaning he should do it. But again, there is a qualifier on this thing. It is telling us, if I may read, Honorable Speaker, the President shall at least one in each year attend a sitting of the National Assembly and address a session on the condition of the country, the policies of government. These two qualifiers are very important, especially when it comes to the policy issue. And then I believe the reason why is because of we are representing the people, and these government policies affect the people that we represent. Then it is important for us to look at the SONA critically and have time to criticize those policies, because these policies affect the people that actually we represent. So the idea is for us to look at it, criticize it, shape it. Where it is fine, we talk to the government. Where it is not fine, then we criticize it so that the government can improve. On that note, Honorable Speaker, let me, since we are constrained with time, let me just start with the Ministry of Agriculture. Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Agriculture is very important in our economy because it has the largest employer in all government sectors. But we can see it contributes only 24% of GDP, which I believe government should work on and put a lot of funds in the Ministry of Agriculture so that actually our economy can be a little bit better off. But sometimes if you look at the Ministry of Agriculture, you wonder why. The funds, donor fundings that go to the Ministry of Agriculture is too much. This is why sometimes even when we are considering the budget, we think twice. They have the most landed people in this country. They are in the Ministry of Agriculture. But honestly, result is their problem. And then I think if we want to move this country ahead, we must be focused how the Ministry of Agriculture can perform better. Honorable Speaker, when it comes to works and transport and infrastructure, we are informed in paragraph 7 of the SONA that the Gambia Port Authority make a revenue collection of 1.5 billion. It's very important. It's a lot of money, but I believe it is underperforming. And then I think we need to look at the Gama at the Port Authority very well. Honorable Speaker, the scanner at the Gambia Port Authority is owned by a Ghanaian. The Gambia Port Authority should have its own scanner. A foreign company installing their scanner at our airport, even in security-wise, is risky, very risky. So meaning the Port Authority itself, they should have their own scanner. But if you have a foreign company that is running that scanner, I'm seeing what passed through that scanner, then as a country, is definitely risky, and then we need to look at it properly. Then, Honorable Speaker, on trade, and then I think I would not debate that one, but I would actually put a question that I would need a clarification. Many members have talked about it with regard of the $50 million. But you know, we approved this one as a parliament. And then if you look at the preamble of that $50 million, it reads as, whereas the borrower has requested Badia to provide a revolving trade finance facility of an amount not exceeding $50 million US. Herein referred to as the facility, to be exclusively to finance importing of petroleum products, food, and other essential commodities from African and Arab countries. Listening to the person awarded this contract, saying he has a vast land in Sierra cultivating rice with regard of this. If you looked at what we have, for me, there is nothing like rice cultivation. I think you can use the fund to import rice. But to use that fund for rice cultivation is my question. Honorable Vice President, and then the Finance Minister also is here, who is the custodian of this document. It is true that the person awarded this $50 million, is he using some part of that $50 million to cultivate rice? If that is the case, go to Article 10 of the agreement, where it reads default clauses. Event of default. It is an event of default if one of the following occur. The borrower used any part of the proceeds of this facility for a purpose other than the purpose for which the facility has been extended, or other than financing import and other products. I need an answer to this, because for me, you already put yourself in some legal litigation, because the Gambia government is the borrower of this money, not the person who is awarded the contract. It is very clear in the agreement that it is the Gambia government that borrowed the money because they signed for it. If you look at the back page, named Dr. Sidi Ulta, Director, signed on behalf of Badia and Republic of the Gambia, Mr. Sidi Keita, the Finance Minister. And we must be very careful in the way this thing is implemented. Many members have talked about it. Actually, members of parliament, we are a little bit dissatisfied the way it was implemented, because for me, I believe where you have a $50 million, you could have created millionaires out of this $50 million, because you have took it on behalf of the nation. Use that $50 million to create millionaires. But if you take the $50 million and give it to a millionaire, the purpose is defeated. And actually, for us, we were definitely expecting government institutions to be part of this thing, like the GGC. We see the intervention they did when they imported rice here. The price of rice has to go down. And then the idea of these facilities also is to create competition, so that price of rice and other basic commodity can go down. But if you take it and give it to one person, then still now the issue of monopoly will work. Honorable Speaker, on environment, I think the Minister of Environment was around, but he is out. Honorable Speaker, we have a law that ban cutting trees, making charcoals. But you know what is happening in this country now? You see, if you go to the bush and you are fetching firewood, you can use the dead wood. But cutting the land, allowing them to dry, your mic is cut.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Nyamina Dankunku. I now invite the Honorable Member for Banjul North, 1548.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I will also want to join my fellow honorable colleagues to commend His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia for fulfilling his constitutional mandate, that is Section 77(1) of the Constitution. And I will also want to thank His Excellency the Vice President and the honorable ministers present here to listen to us on this important session, and also to be ready to answer to all the questions that we are about to ask. Honorable Speaker, with your permission, I would just want to refer the House to the introduction part of the SUNA, that is the speech of the President. Under the introduction number 1, it says, in accordance with Section 77(1) of the Constitution, it is his honor, even though it is my honor written, but it is his honor, I am quoting him, the President, to address this august body on the country's current state of affairs. And 2 says the address provides an update of his administration performance during the 2023 calendar year, which is indeed very important. Talking about the focus on government policies, programs, legislative frameworks, and others. I think this is indeed very important. But, Honorable Speaker, with due respect to my own surprise, I didn't hear the President mention anything about one of our most valuable assets as a nation. That is the Senegambia Bridge, we call it. We all understood that last year there was an agreement by his government through the Ministry of Finance with Africa 50. We want to know about the update of what really happened, because most of the things that we saw was on news. We never had the opportunity to bring the minister forward to explain to us. I cannot remember. But I think this would have been an opportunity to understand, especially the figure involved, that is the amount involved, which is about $100 million. What use will it have for Gambia? And also, what plans do they put in place? I understand that according to the agreement, it is to be settled in 25 years to come. But what feasibility study was done? And what consultation was done in terms of reaching or making that decision on behalf of the Gambian people? I think these are very important things that we really need to bring forward. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I will further go to the issue of education. As we all know, as also a demographic dividend champion in this country, I believe we cannot move this country without making sure that we harness demographic dividend. And in doing so, we must make sure that the tools that are within the areas of making sure that we harness demographic dividend must be achieved. And one of the key elements is education. We have seen of recent the approval that we did as Parliament in terms of transforming some of the institutions to universities, which is indeed very laudable. But when it comes to our basic education, is the government, through the Ministry of Basic Education, also thinking of how to introduce a digitalized literacy in our school curriculum? Because we have seen how the world is moving, especially when it comes to areas that has to do with technology. Countries are advancing, but how can we better prepare our children to be well equipped with all these advanced technology, instruments, so that it's part of what we want as a nation to better prepare our future generation. What is government willing to do to make sure that that becomes a reality? And I was expecting such thing to come in terms of the plans that they have, because according to what I just read, has to do also with the future. Honorable Speaker, one of the most important sectors, still on the demographic dividend, has to do with our health. Health is very important. We have seen the move that the government is taking towards health. Health is indeed very important because nowadays in the world we believe in universal health coverage, which is to have access to healthcare services. To what extent have we gone? To my surprise, one of the most key areas that we are seeing ourselves as a nation currently is the issue of young people getting mentally ill in this country, which is a concern. But if you go through the speech, there is nothing mentioned on that. As a nation, as we talk right now, the only psychiatric center we have is one, which is Tanka. And if I tell you, and you will be shocked, Honorable Speaker, if you go to that center right now, if they tell you there are problems, you'll wonder whether we have, even as Parliament, appropriated funds to them. Because their problems are uncountable. What is the government doing to make sure that everything is in order when it comes to that particular center? And I am very concerned, especially when it comes to issues that surrounds mental health. We have seen a move by the government in terms of introducing the nutrition bill, which is indeed very important. And I believe as a Parliament, we are also willing to make sure that when it is brought forward to us for the second reading, we will surely do the needful as Parliament. So for that, I will commend the government, but also to ask them to commit themselves to start contributing towards nutrition in this country, which is indeed something very important. Anything that has to do with nutrition, you will come to realize that it is donor-funded as far as our programs are concerned in this country. Donor-funded programs are not sustainable. As a nation, we should think sustainably so that we put our programs together and see to it that whatever we do starts from us. There is nothing better than starting from our own pockets as a nation. And that will always earn us the respect when we even sit on a round table to discuss with our partners. Honorable Speaker, talking about infrastructure, I cannot keep quiet when it comes to the issue of the Banjul Road Rehabilitation Project. We know the Banjul Road Rehabilitation Project is brought in Banjul to facelift the city of Banjul. But the truth is, since 2019 up to date, I can remember the Minister of Infrastructure stood here last year and said the project will be completed this year, June. And we are in June. And today is July, right? And the project, I can tell you, the most important element of the project, which has to do with the main ring canal, is yet not constructed. And the rainy season is already here. 2 years ago, we were so devastated because of the flash flood that we experienced as a community. That is the city of Banjul. And by extension, let me say the Banjul North constituency. And we don't want that to happen again. So I think it is also very important for the President to give us an update. What is still not making them to complete the work? Because according to them, they will always be so proud to tell you that the work is 98% completed. We want it to be 100% completed, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, going further, the issue of agriculture. All members mentioned about agriculture. That is, the members that have already deliberated as far as this sooner speech is concerned. Honorable Speaker, the President was so proud, and I would refer you to page 9, number 2, to inform us that consequently cereal production increased by 21%. Good news, rise by 27%. But unfortunately, Honorable Speaker, we are still buying a bag of rice at the cost of $2,350. At the cost of $2,250. Today, if you want a Saddam bag, the small bag, it will cost you $2,500. So what is really going on? What impact does it have when all these percentages are increasing? We want to see it impacting our people. If the percentage is increasing, we expect the price to reduce. Understanding that it is one of the main food that we consume as Gambians, including you, Honorable Speaker. When it comes to the issue of the anti-corruption bill,
Honorable Member, is Honorable Speaker not a Gambian?
Of course we are a Gambian.
Then why say for all Gambians, including the Honorable Speaker? You are not making me a Gambian then.
Honorable Speaker,
Pardon? Okay, thank you. It's good enough that your time went off because you mentioned me as a non-Gambian. Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Banjul North. I now invite the Honorable Member for Kiang East.
He's not in the chamber.
I think since we started, I never saw him. I mean, when we came back. No. Honorable Member. Huh? What do you mean? Is he gone home or he's... I'm just being informed that he told the desk table office that he will not be coming. He let me strike his name. This is what I'm saying. The table office just told me that the member for Kiang is asked that I scratch his name because he is going. This is the information I'm receiving against what you are saying. Yeah, that's what the information I'm just giving. I now invite the Honorable nominated member, Keba Lang Fofana.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. To start with, Honorable Speaker, I would like to thank the Vice President and all cabinet ministers who were with us since in the morning, and equally to say a very big thank you to the President in fulfillment of his constitutional mandate as stated in Section 77(1) of the Gambia Constitution and Section 24(1) of the Standing Orders. Honorable Speaker, before starting, let's give a sense of direction to the debate. I know it was done by the Honorable Member for Sabah Sanjal, but I think it's important. The President states on page 4, paragraph 2, the address provides an update on my administration's performance during the 2023 calendar year with focus on government policies, programs, legislative frameworks, and plans for the future. This will be linked to our national plans and the influence of developments on the nation. Honorable Speaker, it's surprising to hear members asking about specifics when we have other parliamentary tools that we can use to get those answers. During every session on Wednesdays, we have members' questions to the various line ministries. In the introduction, the President clearly stated that he is going to provide us with a summation, a consolidated version of his government's performance. And today, what we should do as lawmakers is to interrogate that paper based on the programs and how do they address to the social needs. Then we can trickle it down to the specifics by directing those questions to the relevant ministries. Honorable Speaker, from there I will start with the economy.
And with the economy, I would like to refer the House to page 7, paragraph 1, which states, in 2023, the Gambian economy surpassed the projected growth rate for sub-Saharan Africa and stood at 5.3%. This resulted from our commitment to economic growth and prosperity, reducing inflation and other debt vulnerabilities, while maintaining prudent fiscal policy. During the starting of the debate, I was worried because the finance minister was not in, but I would like to welcome him equally for coming. This is a welcoming news. But down in the streets, Honorable Finance Minister, questions are being asked as to how do we correlate this to the prices of basic commodities and services. What are the elements involved? As a government, all of our actions are geared towards improving the lives and livelihoods of our people. So it will be prudent if you can speak to the Gambian people and let them know what are the drivers of the economic growth and why is it that still now that economic growth cannot trickle down to a noticeable decrease in the prices of basic commodities and services. And if at all there is anything that needs to be done, we can do it concertedly, so that at the end of the day, the vision of the president to providing a better Gambia for all can be realized. And then, Honorable Speaker, one of the key things that the SONA also provided was indicating that IFMIS is being rolled out to all the local government authorities. As a member of FPAC, I want to commend the government for that, because I can recall an instance with one of the finance directors in Janjanbureh Area Council, where the director told us that the source documents were left out to be soaked by the rain. And there was no way that we could have any other alternative way of gathering evidence. So which means this have demonstrated the vision and the commitment of the government towards improving accountability and transparency. And I will urge the finance ministry to really ensure that IFMIS is not only rolled out, but ensure that the local government authorities are definitely utilizing it so that we can harness all the dividends that it comes with. Honorable Speaker, the report also did highlight that agriculture during 2023 contributed to 24.4% to our GDP. This is important because agriculture is one of the productive bases of this country. We cannot continue to rely on tax as the only source of revenue for our country. It cannot work. So seeing the government diverting resources towards improving on that productive base is worth commending. And again, the report also did indicate that this year over 5,000 hectares of land have been allocated to 10 investors for rice cultivation. Annually, the Gambia consumes 300,000 metric tons of rice. Out of these 300,000 metric tons, only 10% is produced locally. That is roughly around 30,000 metric tons, which means we buy 270,000 metric tons. With the current price of rice standing at around $600 per metric ton, which means we are spending in excess of $160 million on an annual basis for the procurement of rice. We stand to benefit a lot. Imagine if this project works through, how much metric tons it will provide. And that will start as savings which can be diverted to other crucial sectors of the economy. Honorable Speaker, at this point, I would like to refer you to page 11, clause 3. This point is very important. It reads, that's under the Ministry of Fisheries, Water Resources and the Environment. Fisheries and Water Resources. It says, consequently, the Ministry of Fisheries, Water Resources and National Assembly Matters has initiated the construction of 20 fishing boats with fishing equipments to enhance the livelihood of the youth and women and reduce illegal migration. Also, the ministry is constructing fish ponds in Coloro through a funding partnership with EU to boost fish production. This deserves a commendation from the House. And it is really unfair if members should ask questions to know whether it was not allocated based on political lines. For once, we should see the Gambia. Today, the most critical sector of our economy is the youth. The most critical segment of our society is the youth. If the Ministry of Fisheries is coming up with a project which is going to reorient these youths, give them life sustenance skills where they can generate income for the betterment of their lives and livelihoods, what we should do is to encourage the ministry, but asking them specifics and concluding by saying we need to know to ensure that it wasn't on political lines, that was unfair and that was unparliamentary. And we should desist from that, because it doesn't say A party or B party. It says Gambian youths. So, Honorable Speaker, I would commend the ministry for that, and we would like to tell the Ministry of Fisheries and Water Resources to really tow along those lines. The youths deserve every bit of empowerment. They are the futures of tomorrow, and if we want a better Gambia, we have to continue on the investments we are doing in the youth sector. Honorable Speaker, the report also highlighted the construction of 365 kilometers of roads, basically from the local funds. This is laudable because it has never happened in the Gambia. Always we depend on loans, we depend on grants. But believe in me, history has taught us that no country has ever been developed by IMF or World Bank. We must start looking inward, we must start generating our own resources, and we must start investing in our own developmental priorities. So we commend the Ministry of Works and Transportation for that, for making sure that we've used the Gambian dollars, we've used Gambia's generated revenue to build 365 kilometers of road, and we are hopeful that this trend will what? Continue. Honorable Speaker, to the Ministry of Land, we are happy that the Minister is here, and we are saying a tap on the shoulder because we have seen the improvements he's done in the ministry, which is equally being highlighted by the Sona statement that for the first time we are formulating a land policy since independence. It is high time we start thinking about land banking.
Thank you very much. Honorable nominated member Keba Lamfufona, if I had not committed myself to saying that I will give no time, I will give you extra 1 minute. I now invite the honorable member for Fonyi Jarol.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And then may I also thank the Vice President and then all the honorable ministers that are here with us since in the morning and those coming in the afternoon. Well, I am not those oppositions who don't recognize efforts of government. I even do say I am an administrator. I am not a politician. So being an administrator, this is why sometimes in my contributions I may sound very disrespectful to others, because I want people to deliver to the best of their ability for a better country. And then I know this is our country, and then this is the opportunity that we have. I know some will start saying that maybe now he's gone to borrow. This is Gambia politics now. Or maybe I have received a brown envelope. The reason why I'm saying this, the opportunity that we have, that we turn it as a strength, that we victimizing the president. We have a president who is open, who you can speak to him at any time you want, without any fear or favor. This is a president, how well he listens, I don't know. You have to continue clapping. How well he listens, I don't know. But I am confident he is even ready to speak to the poor man out there in the street without any fear. But for us now, the president has not trust on us, appointed us into offices, we turn it as a strength to be turning everything into corruption. Just breaking all institutions. Let me just look at this statement that the president made. Our survival and progress depends on security and peace. How can we achieve this? When our people out there, my people in Fonyi Jarol there, are crying. I say when we speak here, when you prepare this report, I was an administrator before, I prepare reports. Most when people prepare reports, they don't put the challenges there. They don't put their constraints. They don't put their corruption in the report. They will not put there. All what they will do is to put the good side. What I found most of it to be contradicting here, Honorable Fofana, nominated member, has said it. Honorable Talindin Kunja has said it. Because we look at the economy. When you tell me that the economy is growing at 5.3%, I have to look at the impact of that growth within the communities. Are they feeling that growth? Again, I have to look at within the institutions. We want to talk here of increasing rent allowance and transport allowance. So with a growing economy, what stopped that? Can you now tell me the answer? What stopped that increment of that house rent allowance? Corruption. And then transport allowance? And then the economy is growing. And then I look at again, like the executive will do the planning. The National Assembly does the approval. Then again, the executive through their ministries will do the implementation of what they have planned. We, the National Assembly, will do our oversight functions to go and scrutinize and then inform the public what is going on. So are we enemies? We are not an opposition. I'm not here to show myself or I want you people to recognize me. Since last week, there is a charitable organization in this country that I am linked to, that I don't direct them where they go. I have given them my vehicle. Since last week, I'm looking for a lift to come to work, and I'm never late. Even Gimara, where the president is from, they are giving him a borehole. They are everywhere. Today, as I speak to you, they are in Kiang. So are you telling me that I'm an opposition? Am I not contributing to a government's effort? Anytime I talk, I will talk on the security. And then, Honorable Vice President, I want those OIC vehicles all to be sold or converted into pickups and then given to police stations everywhere, given to the security. This is what I would inform you. All those OIC vehicles, because we are told that you kept them somewhere else to make a decision. If you have not made that decision or you are not yet to arrive at a decision, I want all those vehicles sold or converted into pickups and then given to police stations or turned into ambulances to hospitals and then given to hospitals. If not, next session, what I'm going to say here, if you clap for me today, the next time you're not going to clap for me. I am going to comment. All of us are here. We are not enemies to these ministers. The Minister for Higher Education, how many times did he table a bill here? Somebody goes against it. The Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, anytime we are out, especially Gambians, we are out on international engagement. Anytime we present our work policies, countries admire us. They want to learn from us. But come to our own country to implement, it's like day and night. While our people are suffering there, you want us to come here every time we are putting on the table. In fact, we need to do something to the security. It's not safe. If you'll go by the word of this president, our survival and progress. Our survival and progress depends on security. And because my own village, my own constituency, Fonyi Jarol, and the Lamen where I come from, the number of security personnel that are leaving security is a threat to this nation. And then some are leaving not because of poor allowances and salaries, because of the suppression they receive at their workplaces. Because we put the wrong people into leadership position or to lead those people, whereby they suppress them, they don't know even their role as leaders, and they force those people to resign from the military, just being out there. And we think that is peace for us. We are talking about sustaining peace. And then even the example is demonstrated during a long time. The securities came last. We have to go and have the food. Before they came, the food is finished. These are the people to protect us. Now they have to drink water to protect us. Even if I hit one, he's going to collapse because he's already hungry. We are not looking after them. We should care them. You know, I have been emphasizing about people think that I want to be a friend to the police. It used to be the orderly of the security ministers. They used to travel with them. Why did you stop it? Why did you stop it? You know, I'm not that opposition who yesterday, even when this building was being constructed, they said it's waste of resources. Today you are sitting here and clapping. You don't even want to portray that picture here. That's this government. This report here, I wish I'm giving 1 hour to speak. I'll analyze from the economy, the growth of the economy. You come to agriculture. This man has already said, we said that 27% growth in rice production, cereal, and this and this. Still now, a bag of rice is going up, importation is going up. Where's the positive impact? Where's the impact? What kind of report did we present here? And then before my time is finished, let me say this important thing here, because I know some people are eager for my time to finish. There is this in the Constitution that, this owner. Let me quote the president that's under legal. He said the former president act, she enacted, acknowledged the services of the nation's former leaders. That is the president's, how do you call it? This page 30. 39, page 39. Don't confuse me by asking for number. And then it provides their dignified post-presidential life. Very important word. I can't speak English, but I don't know what this word means. Like how you express the OIC said most successful. Can you remove the word most?
Honorable, page 39, which number, which paragraph?
4. 4, page 39, 4. It provides for their dignified post-presidential life. Only that line. I don't know that bill to express, we president now, because whether we even have ex-president, that we are protected. When the home of the ex-president is turned into a military barracks. What does this mean? We are preparing it for somebody. This is why African laws keep on changing. If today I become a leader, this constitution will be thrown out. I'll prepare my own constitution. Because we prepare constitution to suit for your own self, not to suit the country. This is what we do. Are we giving any protection to the president? Where we turn his family compound into a military barracks? And then now the bill is here. That is, we are saying that we are happy to pronounce. That is fine. So what I want to say here, this report here, I have a lot of objections to this. And then definitely, if we are talking about sustainable peace, we have to look at the welfare of the security. The pressure that is going in them, forcing a lot of them to leave the service and stay in this country is not good. And we never even recognize
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Foni Jarol. I now invite the Honorable Member for Serekunda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I will equally join my fellow members to thank members of the executive and the President for fulfilling his obligation. Honorable Speaker, we first have to establish the importance of the document before us, which bears the policies and programs of the government. And what are policies? Policies are roadmap as to how government should operate in order to achieve the desired aims and objectives of the citizens. Honorable Speaker, in the SONA speech, I've gone through it, and it really falls short to come with policies that really affects the Gambian people. Honorable Speaker, there is a mismatch between the policies and the programs. what are policies, for example, in the area of education. We were expecting policies that will inform us as to how we want our educational institutions to be. For example, most of the schools in the Greater Banjul area today have no security. They are occupied by juvenile delinquents selling drugs, playing in those school grounds during school hours, disturbing teachers, and teachers cannot even control them. So what are the policies of the security policies of those schools? Honorable Speaker, crime and juvenile delinquency is really a concern, and there is a public outcry. Recently, 7 Gambian youths have perished through the use of coups, and many communities have found it very necessary to come up together to form a vigilante group. So on that note, I would thank the youth of Serekunda Community Police, the youth of Talinding and Sukuta as well have definitely come up with tremendous efforts to help the police to cope this menace amongst our youths. Honorable Speaker, we should also try to understand what is the cause of these social vices in our communities. This is as a result of disorganized societies, unregulated institutions. For example, every corner in the community where I come from, Serekunda, there is an unregulated garage, which is a bridge to social vices, where normally these criminals will hide and do their operations, selling drugs, selling drugs and doing other criminal activities. Honorable Speaker, there is also another area that needs to be regulated. That would be what are the regulations or policies to guide the operations of bars, nightclubs, casinos, and supermarkets. Honorable Speaker, in every supermarket nowadays, they are selling alcohols, and there is no age limit. And you go to the nightclubs or to some of the bars in our neighborhoods, like in Kololi, Honorable Speaker, you will see all sorts of criminal activities to a degree whereby...
Sorry, Honorable Member for Serekunda. The timers, he has just spent 5 minutes. He still has 5 minutes, please. Sorry, yes, Honorable Member for Bikama South.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Speaker, I rise to move a motion for us to sit beyond 6 o'clock to complete the business.
Okay, honorable members, I have a few left, so I think by then we will be able to finish. Okay, any seconder? All Yundum, honorable member for All Yundum.
Yes, I second the motion, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that we continue beyond 6 o'clock to complete the order paper today. Those in favor, please say aye. Not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Honorable member for Serekunda, you can continue.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. This comes to my mind as a result. On the day after the Eid prayers, I took my children to somewhere where is a public place for children to hang out. So when I went there, Honorable Speaker, it was very disheartening. You'll see children under the age of 12, 13 using this seesaw. And in a developed country, there is an age limit. Where are those policies? I was equally going around looking for my boy who was also out. I went to a place called the Center around Bakote. There they are selling alcohol were in the midst of young children between the ages of 12 and 16. So there is a need to regulate these places, Honorable Speaker. And another thing, Honorable Speaker, the issue of demolition, like the member for Talinding have cited. Currently, in my community, so many properties have been demolished, and they are yet to receive their compensation. That is also an issue. So to avoid such in the future, there is a need to have policies that will govern and regulate these demolition exercises. Another thing that would be national disaster, NDMA. I believe that the NDMA approach is outdated. They need to come with new policies and strategies to mitigate disaster by including the local residents and the local structures, the available local structures. In reality, that's how policies should be crafted. It should be bottom-top approach. In the area of agriculture, I won't talk much. Since we accepted groundnut to be a cash crop, that limited us to the level we are still at in agriculture. But there are other areas that if we harness those areas, we can realize a lot in agriculture. Honorable Speaker, I will end my contribution with our, that would be page 45(9). Our experience over the years provides an example of how an under-resourced small state, thank you very much, Your Excellency, Mr. President, and the executive, by admitting that we are under-resourced, but we accept to be under-resourced. There are other areas. For example, where are the garages? Where are the malls? These are potential areas that if the government invests on them, it will make them generate more revenues and provide more services to the people. On that note, Honorable Speaker, I thank you very much.
1729. Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Serekunda. And despite our interruptions, you kept to your time. I now invite the Honorable Member for Fonyi Bintang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Without any distraction from Member Oluyunu, please. Okay. In my mind, I have the conviction and the belief that we should be addressing the President, and the President should be here to answer to our questions. But until then, when we have the laws to be changed, to suit us, because the President is the very person that can answer questions to our satisfaction. I don't want it to be a burden on the Vice President. Thank you. Going forward, I quote from the President, page 45, 10. There is no turning back, no slowing down for us. But I can see to read that the government have fully turned their back towards development, towards progress, towards security, towards everything. In governance, your actions should speak for you. You should not tell people, this is what I did and this is how far I went. People will see by themselves if actually you are bringing development. I was expecting the President to come and tell us how prepared are they to fulfill the promise that they made to the general civil servants. That is the issue of transport allowance and house rent. That was promised to the entire civil servants. But they have failed and they have not addressed that. When you address the nation, you address the burning issues. You address the challenges that the people are facing. You address the economic situation. But you cannot tell us that we are improving in terms of our economy, where in reality, we are seeing inflation day in, day out, draining us. How much are we changing the euro today, Tom? 72, 73. It went to an extent up to 74 for 1 year. And you're telling us we are developing and we are progressing, our economy is progressing. On what basis? Things must be realistic in all the senses. So that is the challenge that we face as a nation today. We said, the government, how do they want to improve on the civil servants and their living condition? We all know that the Gambia, we have the least pay scale in the sub-Saharan Africa. You are telling me we are developing in our economy. How are we developing? How is the economy growing without the civilians feeling it, without the general public feeling it? What is wrong? Who is feeling that economic growth? That we want to know, Honorable Vice President. We are not asking the President how he wants to rely on UN, as he stated here.
Honorable Member, you are not addressing the Vice President, you are addressing the Speaker.
The Speaker, thank you. Honorable Speaker, I'll always address you and continue to address you. And that is not for you, but for you as the chair. Honorable Speaker, page 5, the President stated, Mr. Speaker, our resolve is to intensify engaging with global and regional bodies such as the UN, AU, and others. The engagement has been on for long, but we are not asking you about the engagement with those people. We are asking you, how are you mobilizing the resources locally? In the absence of UN, in the absence of AU, in the absence of ECOWAS, how do we survive as a nation? How will we solve our problem as a nation? And the President did not even go further to tell us when he wants the ECOWAS or economic soldiers to leave our land. And these are challenges and these are issues. When can we rely on ourselves? When can we have trust on ourselves? When can we have confidence in ourselves? That is the challenge. When you address sooner, you address the burning issues, like we have seen the issue of course, taking the life of the young, as stated by other parliamentary members. This has been an issue, and it's a burning issue. When you address the nation, you address the burning issues. This is why when other honorable members were clapping, I was wondering what were they clapping for. When the issues are addressed, then you clap. But when the issues are not addressed, why should you clap? What were you clapping for? In the judiciary sector, we all have seen that there is no progress in the judiciary sector. Because we have seen cases, people are in remand, for 10 years in remand, without completing the judgment. When you address those issues, you address the nation, those are the kind of issues that you should address as the President. In the issue of health, go to Ndemban Clinic. Ndemban Clinic at night. We are not asking you how much health facilities have you constructed. We are asking you in terms of performance, in terms of exercise, in terms of resources. How far have you gone? That is what we are asking you. For you to tell us. But go to Ndemban around 5 o'clock or around 7 o'clock. You will see people, they lie on bare floor. Sometimes they will be there without treatment for hours. And then this does not require that much evidence. Just go there today and you will witness it by yourself. And in the health sector, how do we advance? Is that progress? Is that development? Look at Banjul here. The renovation have been ongoing, close to 2 years, in the area of health. And is this the kind of democracy that you have called for? And is this the democracy that you celebrate? It's sad, Honorable Speaker. Very, very sad. And the President also made it clear that he stands firm to fight against FGC. More than the commitment of the President is our commitment to preserve our culture, our tradition, our beliefs, and our values. And in this National Assembly, we will continue to represent the interests of the Gambian people, not the interests of the West. And that should be known to all. In so doing, we don't in fact require support from anybody. We want to uphold our beliefs, our values, and our tradition. And that FGC, we are committed to practicing it today, tomorrow, and forever. What will be wrong if we practice what we believe in? We ask you to practice what you want to practice, and we practice what we want to practice. And you say no to that? What kind of democracy is that? Mbajela Janne, we will see it. We will see the end of these things. You were clapping. You better clap now. We will see the end of this. We will stand on our ground without begging for relationship or support. If that will be the reason as to why we will be sanctioned, let us be sanctioned as a nation. If because of Pakistan, the FGC will be the reason as to why we will be sanctioned, then let us be sanctioned, Honorable Speaker. We are ready for it. And statistics have shown that when a nation is sanctioned, that's the time the nation progresses. We are ready for that progress. And we are committed towards that progress. I thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Fonyi Bintang. I now invite Honorable Nominated Member Fatou K. Jawara. 1738.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I also join my colleague to thank the Vice President and Cabinet Ministers here present, and to thank the President of the Republic for fulfilling the constitutional requirement, and to further congratulate him for being elected by the second largest body of the Muslim organization, OIC, as the chairperson. Honorable Speaker, to begin with health, Honorable Speaker, we must commend the government for not only fulfilling their national commitment, but international obligatory. The Malabo Protocol that make it mandatory for every country to allocate 10% for agriculture and 15% for health. It is in His Excellency tenure that the Gambia was lucky to have MRC machine at the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital. It is his tenure that we have a DNA machine, a testing laboratory, among others. Some of them were even captured in the Suna address, but I was just reading this by head. Honorable Speaker, on the transport and works, we've been seeing a lot of achievement by the government in the area of road infrastructure development. Honorable Speaker, but I need a lot also need to be done about installation of street lights, installation of street light cameras to monitor reckless drivers to minimize road accident in the Trans-Gambia and the Batin-Hardin Highway, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on the national security, Honorable Speaker, if you may permit me, page 32, and I may read. Page 32, where the Suna address highlight the Police Act of the 1949. The 1949 Police Act has been updated and new strategies framework formulated, such as the National Security Policy, National Security Council Bill, National Security Strategy, Security Sector Reform Strategy, and National Defense Policy. The GAF Bill has also been revised, and the term of reference for service. I think this will serve as serve our men in uniform to have a decent livelihood after serving as security men. So those members who were saying that securities were not captured and they were neglected, I think that those are things that we need to revisit. I don't think the servicemen were neglected, because we all witnessed in the past 22 regime when they were subjected to go and work work at a farm by force, when that was not happening anymore. Honorable Speaker, still on national security, I'm calling on the Interior Minister to thoroughly investigate this issue of coups. About the 113 cases that were reported of the coups, and 11 deaths, I don't think there is any non-Gambian. And most of the traffickers of these coups believed to be Sierra Leonean and other non-Gambians. So I think those things need to be checked, and we have serious serious situation to deal so that they can bring these perpetrators on board rather than having our youths dying like that. Honorable Speaker, on the land and regional government, we had the head of state address issue of land dispute and others. But what I didn't hear him address is about the council, the annual report that the council statement, the annual report by the auditors that council statements are not credible and sometimes payments are done outside the system. Some of those things I think also need to be checked properly so that taxpayers can be benefit from their money rather than seeing council using taxpayers' money to enrich themselves. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on the page 34 of the SUNA address about the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Honorable Speaker, I think before, what the minister was saying, the minister was highlighting, according to a report given by the President, by the line minister, the support service in Bakote to temporarily house savior of gender-based violence, to accompany this gender-based violence and child protection helpline 199 has been integrated with the Gender Ministry Information System, among others. Honorable Speaker, I think before this support, the integration and others, this abuse starts from somewhere. And where does this abuse start sometimes is from the internet. I am not saying that there is no good side of the internet, but most of this exploitation starts from the internet. Some of these children may use this mobile new application to use pornography photo of themselves to that will exploit them to exploitation. So I think those things also need to be looked into holistically. And I call on the Minister of Digital Economic to work hand in glove with the Honorable Minister for Gender to see how to map out this situation. And Honorable Speaker, finally, Honorable Speaker, we must commend the President and the entire Cabinet Minister for successfully submitting all their activity plans, because some countries you may go, they will, in the SUNA address, they will highlight only 3 key line ministry or fields, but at least they submitted everything. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nominated Member Fatou K. Jawara. I now invite the Honorable Member for Basse.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. First, I have to thank His Excellency the President for fulfilling his constitutional mandate, Section 77(1) of the 1997 Constitution, and also acknowledge the presence of His Excellency the Vice President and the Cabinet Ministers who are here to support him technically. Honorable Speaker, my first intervention goes to Minister of Agriculture on number 4 of the statement. That is, the statement reads, with your permission, Honorable Speaker, the government allocated $1.5 billion for the purchase of groundnuts, acquiring about 36,659 metric tons. This marks a significant increase over the 10,000 metric tons purchased in the previous season. We all know before the trade season, the rumor people were saying the price of groundnuts will not be increased, and it was also a frustration to the farmers how and where to sell their groundnuts. But the government took a commitment that is, these are the people we are serving, and we make sure at least they are taken care of. And that there was a consideration on the price of groundnuts, and that have made a big impact And when the price was mentioned by the minister or the government, I think it was a record breaking within the sub-region. And that's why, and again today, there is no farmer who will come and say, my ground was not bought. We really applaud the government and the ministry for standing by the farmers and encouraging them. The second observation or point, that is number 5, looking ahead, that is cropping season. We plan to bring 500 hectares under rice cultivation and 5,000 under 5,000 targets that could rise substantially. It tends registered commercial farmers in the scheme commercial sector. Honorable Speaker, this statement is a very good statement, but again, we are not using only rice. When you are to cook, you have to use vegetables and other things. I think the ministry also should consider much on the vegetable production. I know they have started something, that is building storage facilities throughout the country. But again, before you harvest, you must at least cultivate and at least protect those vegetables before harvesting. That is the fencing, garden fencing. This women garden fencing is a concern, and you have a lot of wildlife that penetrate or encroach into their crops or vegetables and destroy them. So we are appealing to the minister or the ministry to consider on this garden fencing by either when preparing for their 2024-2025 budget allocation, they put a consideration to it, or look for an alternative that is a support from outside. But I know it is a major concern, and I want the ministry to consider it. Honorable Speaker, the most fascinating statement on this agriculture by His Excellency, that is number 9, the agricultural insurance scheme. This is more than welcoming. It is here to address the two sections of the farmers. That is the small-scale farmers and also the large-scale farmers. The small-scale farmers, their financial muscle is very limited, and this insurance scheme is here to give them the collateral security in order for them to acquire loans into these banks for them to invest into their farms. For the large-scale earners, it is here to guarantee them, to give them the support or provide them financial protection in order to invest as much as they can, because the risks they might have, it has already been transferred to the shoulders of the insurance company, that is to manage and handle the risks for the crop loss or damages they're going to acquire within the season. So this insurance scheme will now encourage so many investors, because most of the investors we see in the Gambia here is on business. Very rare you see outsiders coming here to invest on agriculture. Few, that is the Indians, that is maybe bananas or whatever. But now, with this coming of this policy, very soon you will see high-scale investors when it comes to farming in this country, because they know their fears are being addressed when it comes to risk management. Honorable Speaker, on the Minister of Lands, Regional Governance and Regional Affairs, Regional Governance and Regional Affairs. Honorable Speaker, on number 4 of the statement, yes, page 25. This is a very good move by the ministry, and it indicates that this is the first ever national land policy. And it will also introduce a land tenure system to ensure tenure security, equitable land access, and promote sustainable use of land resources. Also, it is designed to generate wealth, mitigate poverty, and reinforce resilience against environmental changes. Honorable Speaker, this policy will help us to address the most talked about land dispute within this country. I think the entire country is faced with this issue, that is land issues, where families goes to loggerhead, even to an extent to go to courts about land ownership or whatever. And if you go to the courts, 40% or 50% of some of their cases is about as a result of land disputes. With this policy, I think it will address most of these land dispute issues. But again, I think the Minister of Lands have a daunting task under that ministry, because he has to tighten his belt in order to make a drastic reforms when it comes to staff attitudinal change in that ministry. Because that ministry, it needs to be looked at very well on the attitudinal staffs, on the attitude of the staff in that ministry. And again, it is a question to His Excellency the Vice President, the government and the Minister of Local Government. The area councils, what type of autonomous do they have, or independence do they have when they work independently? At times, their acts and financial issues not to be questioned, their operation not to be questioned, even when it comes to their financial discipline, not to be questioned. Looking at what is unveiling, and it doesn't stop there. Even right now, there are so many things even happening. Please, the ministry, this is also part of his tax. He has to take the bold decision, and supported by the cabinet and the government, to make sure the local governments are not that autonomous or independent to central government. They are under the central government.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Basse. I now invite the Honorable Member for Jara Central.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, first of all, I would like to acknowledge the presence of His Excellency the Vice President of the Republic of the Gambia and his cabinet ministers, including his permanent secretaries and their deputies here present, and the media at large. Honorable Speaker, to begin with, with the SONA presented by His Excellency President Adama Barrow, I would acknowledge the good works, first of all, that his government has underwent in the year under review, which includes and not limited to, Honorable Speaker, to the following. Honorable Speaker, the plan to electrify 21 communities in my constituency, which is Jara Central, is a recommended, very recommended and a giant step of his government, that's President Adama Barrow. My constituency, Jara Central, was only fortunate to have only 4 communities that were electrified for the past 57 years of independence. Therefore, if the government of His Excellency President Adama Barrow, under the Minister of Energy and Petroleum, has the plans to electrify 21 communities in my constituency, I am saying bravo to Your Excellency. Honorable Speaker, this is not only a plan, the project has started. The project has started, and then poles have been electrified in some communities. In the remaining communities, surveys have been done, and then very soon, as I have been promised by the former Minister of Energy and Petroleum, that the team to go and also erect poles in those communities will soon follow. Honorable Speaker, the other commendable work that President Adama Barrow and his government underwent in the year under review was the construction of a ring road. My member for Jara West mentioned it. A ring road in the Kabada corridor. In the last legislature, I have been crying here over and over for the Kabada corridor also to benefit from government projects. These have come to be true this year. The whole of Kabada would enjoy a ring road like the Panchang or the Hakalang road. This is very excellent, Honorable Speaker. This road will pass through my own village, Guiba, and the other branch will go up to Japine. Honorable Speaker, I am more than happy on the speech made by His Excellency President Adama Barrow in the SONA for 2024. The other commendable work, Honorable Speaker, mentioned in the SONA for 2024 by His Excellency the President Adama Barrow was the procurement of 180 tractors. 180 tractors. This government have the plan to procure 180 tractors just for national food security, which all of us have been crying here as members of parliament. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, this is more than commendable. The other area, Honorable Speaker, is the hope that a referendum of the new constitution, the long-awaited constitution, by December 2024. This is also another giant stride taken by his government, Adama Barrow. Now, Honorable Speaker, if you go to the Ministry of Trade, under the Ministry of Trade, Honorable Speaker, we've seen His Excellency, the President, mention about SICPA. SICPA, Honorable Speaker, if you may allow me just to read a small history of SICPA, Honorable Speaker. SICPA. This is under the Ministry of Trade, but it was mentioned under the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy. But my committee, as the chairperson of the Trade Committee, we had an engagement, a stakeholder engagement on this SICPA agreement, calling the GRA, Ministry of Finance, and the Ministry of Trade, and also local producers within the country. Honorable Speaker, in that engagement, we learned that the agreement do not go well with the PS for trade, because he do give them his advice, but they did not pay heed to his advice. And then we can see a that's member for Lower Flood West, has given small history of what SICPA is, or who SICPA is. Honorable Speaker, SICPA is a Swiss family company. And then the acronym is in French, though it is no more in use, but I will try to see how best I can pronounce it in French. Société industrielle et commerciale des produits alimentaires. In English, it translates as the Industrial and Commercial Company of Food Products. Honorable Speaker, the said company have been targeted of several corruptions, investigation in Switzerland and overseas. The company provides security inks for currencies and sensitive documents. And then the company, when it was fined, it was fined to a tune of $90.6 million for corporate criminal liability over the payment of bribes in various countries. A former sales manager also of the same company was also given a conditional prison sentence of 170 days. Honorable Speaker, we are not saying compliance shouldn't be attained. We should go after compliance, but in as much as we want to monitor compliance, Honorable Speaker, we must also consider the fact that we must not kill the goose that lays our golden eggs. Because all these companies, if you look at it in the country here, Honorable Speaker, all the companies and industry we have here, only few of them are matured industries. All the others are cropping to make ends meet.
Can I observe you?
No. So on that direction, Honorable Speaker, the challenges of introducing or adopting this system of new digital stamp would be, one of them would be the applicator machine. As we are saying, Honorable Speaker, the applicator machine would be purchased by the industries that are going to implement this.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Jara Central. Honorable Member, the only unfortunate thing is making comparisons between Jara and the Hakalang. Honorable Member for Sandu. Sandu is out. I now invite the Honorable Member for Nyamina West.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I join my colleagues on debates on the SONA presented here by HED President of the Republic of the Gambia. First, I want to come up with a common saying. The most powerful warriors are the most powerful warriors are patience and time. patience and time, and that I want to link this to our, yes, I want to link this to our HED President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, for his peaceful nature and for his patience nature. That warrant me to label him among the most powerful warriors around this sub-region. At that juncture, I remind you that this year alone, he grabbed a lot of awards in the, as being the most peaceful president, and also in the area of democracy and human rights. In the same vein, I will join my colleagues to commend him for his SONA statement, which was a marathon statement, and in which he did his utmost best to deliver this statement without problems and with due diligence. There are a lot of comments that I have for him. Among the list, I will just mention, because time wouldn't allow. I have mentioned the awards, and then also on the invitation to SOEs to sign performance contracts in his office, which is a commendable thing, which is a progress for the government, because if you don't sign performance contracts, it will be very difficult to track your progress. So I commend him for that one also. I also commend him for the good policies that he mentioned here in his deliberation during the SONA, one of which is the 17 policing policies that he mentioned, and also the legislative framework for his good government. For all of us know that without good policies and without a good legislative framework, it will be difficult to govern this country. And it will be difficult to walk along a progressive line. So these all will result to a very good development for our nation. So I commend him for very good policies, and also for bringing such legislation bills like the former President bill, and also the anti-corruption, the victim reparation. These are very important. Some people might misunderstand or misinform the mass, particularly with the former President's bill. But these are progressive, and they are 21st century legislation that will allow people and that will encourage people to shift from positions. Because if there are no frameworks put in place for your safety in the near future, you would want to stay forever in a position that we all want to avoid. So these are the objectives, but it's not just to embezzle government properties after being a president. And any one of us here, it might affect you today or tomorrow. So it's not meant for an individual. So I think it was commendable. Moreover, his political will to bring back the new constitution. And this will bring me to one of our NAM who said during the deliberation of the president, he didn't hear him talking about a term limit. But if you are person enough and you are so intelligent, you will know that the term limit is embedded in the new constitution, and that the president is willing to bring back the new constitution.
Provoking your nephew.
Again, please go back to read the SONA properly and make sure you understand it. Another NAM also have mentioned here that
I told you, please, don't distract people when they are talking. That's against our own standing orders. Please, and when you talk, nobody distracts you. Honorable member, please note the 1 minute or so to be added to his time.
Thank you, Speaker. Well, my other colleague, Honorable, for misguiding the mass, mentioned here that the president is trying to make a rule of the FGM bill, or let's say, that is lying here in front of us. I totally condemn his words. And these are against the standing order, provision 29(5), that says, no member shall input improper motives to any other member or any other presenter. I will quote from the President's speech, page 35. I refer to page 35(7). Then you will understand, if you understand your English, that the President is not trying to rule out, or the President is not against any bill.
Speaker, point of order.
The Assembly.
Yeah, point of order. Uncle, sit down. Boy, Abal Masa.
Who is writing to a point of order? Janyambure, yes, may we hear your point of order?
Speaker, I want to refer you to Standing Order 29, where he quoted. Content of speeches. Every member shall restrict his or her observation to the subject matter under discussion. And I heard the honorable member saying some of the members don't understand English and some of the members don't really understand the statement made by the President. And I think he should desist from labeling members negatively. Thank you.
You have quoted the wrong standing order. What the honorable member said, you may classify it under imputing something into member speeches, but not the relevant section that you have said. And I think what he said, I believe, was that some members may not understand what the President said. I think that's what he said. I don't think that is out of order. Can you continue?
Thank you very much. Okay, page 35(7). I quote from the President. Honorable Speaker, noteworthy is the private member bill to repeal the Women's Amendment Act 2015, currently under review by the legislature, while awaiting its outcome. While we are awaiting its outcome, the government. So my government remains committed to enforce the prohibition of FGM in the Gambia. Please go back to, well, maybe your teacher to help you properly, your English teacher. His Excellency is not saying that. He is ruling out the bill here in front of us. He's saying while he's waiting for us to do diligence with the bill, the government will still remain committed to its position on FGM. Good. So this will take me to the Ministry of Agriculture. Well, the Ministry of Agriculture, I can see a lot of enthusiasm. I see a lot of commitment, and I am seeing a lot of too much of ambition. They want to solve the problem just a day, and that cannot happen. They are doing a lot. But how the farmers receive this is the problem. I can see a vacuum between them and the farmers.
Honorable member, I will give you 1 minute. We interrupted your time, and they cannot fix it.
Yeah, there is a vacuum because farmers are not receiving as they are supposed to receive what is coming from the top. I don't know who are the chain in between and what are the roles of the extension workers. Well, thank you very much, Speaker. I will stop here until adjournment debate when I shall bring the rest. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Nyamuna West. I now invite the Honorable Member for Old Yundum.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. First of all, let me thank your office and the Office of the Clerk, and of course the Office of the President, for listening to the advice of the National Assembly to ensure that the State of Nation address is done much earlier than September. We thank them for listening to the advices coming from the Office of the Speaker, and we have done the State of Nation address at least mid of the year, which is commendable. Honorable Speaker, I wouldn't take much time because most of the things have been addressed by my colleagues already in the State of Nation address. I will be repeating all that they have said. But few things I wanted to highlight more on the sector ministries. One, I have to talk about agriculture. I don't come from a constituency where agriculture is being practiced that much. But I want to commend the Minister of Agriculture, currently the change that is going in the sector. Yes, we understand it's too much. This National Assembly has given a lot of funds, or appropriated a lot of funds for the Minister of Agriculture to do a thorough revamp of the agricultural sector and see how best they can support the farmers in their fields. So we thank them a lot. Government is getting a lot of money in this sector. The 1.5 billion that was allocated for the purchase of groundnut, the fertilizers, and everything. And you know, one thing I used to say, the energy that we put in criticizing government when they have faults should be the same energy that we need to put in when government have done good for us to appreciate. That is the reverse in this country. The only thing that we do is we criticize government without even providing solutions. You understand? And I think we need to depart from that trend. As members of the National Assembly, we can criticize government even if you are part of the opposition. But the good things about the government, too, need to be appreciated and they need to be highlighted, because that is where the government will also understand that, yes, we are doing this much, but this is a gap for us. We need to adjust. Honorable Speaker, on digital economy, I wanted to highlight this ministry. I want the government to focus on digital economy. I think this ministry can support the Gambia a lot. We can digitalize the Gambia and we can do much with the digital economy ministry. I want the government to concentrate on that ministry and support them. Things that have been highlighted in this SONA, I have seen them myself. I have seen the roadmap, I have seen all that. But if we not give them the focus that they deserve, it will be a problem. It means we will not be able to achieve all that we want, all what we are supposed to achieve. So the digital economy ministry need to be supported, and I think National Assembly need to focus on that as well and appropriate as much fund as possible so that they can, transit us from where we are right now, at least to be digitalized in other areas. Honorable Speaker, the Trade Ministry, a lot of good things have been said in the President's speech. And I've seen members giving it a deaf ear. Nobody wants to talk about them. These are good things. They only want to talk about the bad ones that they believe are bad in fact. But these are all good. On the Minister of Trade, on the paragraph 3, it says that in 2023, the administration negotiated with the government of India and secured a waiver for rice importation on a concessional basis with a new extension granted for 2024. So government is doing a lot in terms of that, because I had people talking about GGC, the rice they purchased from, and then they wanted to reduce the cost of price for the citizens. That is good because government has negotiated for the purchase. And then all the amount that they are supposed to pay has been waived for them. At least the amount of money that we are supposed to spend on rice has been reduced. So I think government have done a good thing there. Otherwise, investors in this country will all go and purchase rice, sugar, and everything at a higher price and come back to this country and sell it at a much higher price to the citizens. So government is doing well in that area. Under paragraph 5, in collaboration with the Minister of Finance, that one has been talked about. The 50 million saga, however it might have gone, but I think it's a good intention. Government have done what they are supposed to do. They negotiated, they got 50 million for Gambia investors to get into the sector and bring food items for the Gambians.